Hello, Facebook. Welcome back to my shop. It's been a little while since I've done one of these Facebook Live broadcasts. I spent part of last week sick, and I've also been dealing with some production delays and things in my shop that have kept me busy. So, I do not have a tool tip this evening, but I do have plenty of content on the customers topic. Hello, John. Thank you for stopping by. And the reason I'm talking about this topic today is that there was a conversation on one of the Kydex Facebook groups about a holster maker who had sent out a product and got back feedback from the customer that to him didn't make any sense. Hello, Jessica. Hello, Booth. He had sent out an inside the waistband holster, and the customer's feedback was, this is really flimsy, it's not going to work for me. Yeah, how could you miss the customer's episode? It was written for you, John. Not only for you, but also for you. And so I titled it Good, Bad, and Ugly. I've got a whole bunch of notes on customer types and issues that come up when dealing with customers. But I'm not really feeling that well today, and so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on preliminaries. We're just going to dive right in. Please post up questions as you have them. I'm going to slide a little closer to the door, hopefully get a little better Wi-Fi. So here goes. The first one, a lot of problems we deal with customers are a result of low information or missing information. And it's easy to take for granted as a holster maker that just looking at a holster, that it should be obvious whether it's inside the waistband or outside the waistband and how it should be worn. But we say that as holster makers, having handled hundreds or thousands of holsters, and we pay attention to what other holster companies are doing. We keep tabs on, which kinds of attachments are on the market. There are a bunch of different factors that we are actively paying attention to as they relate to our product. And it's easy to forget that the customer does not have any of that background. They're not a holster maker. They don't know what a foamy is. They probably don't know the difference between an overhook, a J-hook, a C-clip, a strut, a lot of those kinds of things. Daniel, first time tuning in. Thank you for stopping by. And so one thing that I have to constantly remind myself of is that even my best customers are not as experienced handling the product and describing its parts and knowing how it's supposed to function as I am. I'm the one who makes it. I've made thousands of them, and I pay a lot of attention to what is out there in the holster field. Hello, Dean. Thank you for coming by. Hello, Mike Hallam. And so it's a good habit to constantly remind yourself. Hello, Will. I got a lot of first-timers tonight. This is awesome. If you are a holster company, here's the usual pitch. If you're a holster company, please post your company name in the comments so I know who's who, because it's too hard to keep track of business names and personal names. So please post your business name. Please like the feed. Please share the feed on your page. And on your phone right now, please send a text to one or two other holster makers who you think would benefit from the discussion and invite them over here to check it out. Hello, Shane. Hi, Tyler. Back from the dead. Hello, Tom. And so I have to remind myself regularly that my customers do not have the advantage of the experience that I have handling holsters, describing holsters, assembling and disassembling. They just don't know all that. And it's easy for me to get bent out of shape if I feel like the customers are not paying attention. Hello, Charlie, RC Holster Supplies in the house. But really, the responsibility is on me to do the best possible job giving customers the information they need to make an informed decision about the product I'm selling. It's not realistic for me to expect them to know things that they just don't know. They don't have experience. So the first thing is just a gut check for you as a holster maker. Understand that it's never going to end. You're always going to have to be educating customers. You're always going to have to be explaining things that to you seem very, very basic. That's never going to go away. So that's the basic level. Oftentimes, because we make holsters, and holsters are part of an overall carry system that includes clothing and a belt and other things, you will run into limitations or run into problems sometimes because of customers' other poor gear choices. The most obvious one is belts. A lot of customers, even people who've been carrying a gun for a long time and should know better, still carry with single layer, dress style, lightweight, or Walmart style belts. Belts that are not designed to support the weight of a handgun and a spare magazine and a knife and a flashlight and a tourniquet and a taser and whatever they're going to carry. YouTube. Jace Powell says YouTube has been a great resource for customer education. Yes, Jace. If you can shoot short, direct, to-the-point videos and find a way to get your customers there to watch them, it's fantastic. I've been shooting footage on my GoPro camera this past week, which I just got. It's really fun. But I've not sat down and edited it and posted any of it online yet. My goal is actually to take a lot of the things that I know about split molds, about vacuum forming, about how to use a swift press, about how to set up a vacuum system, making trim molds, using trim molds. I'm just hoping to get a lot of that documented and up so that I can share that as a resource. So that's one of my ongoing projects, is picking specific topics and shooting detailed videos using the GoPro and my iPhone to shoot close-ups and wides, so that I've got detailed enough videos that are worth using as a reference. Hello, Kyle. Glad you made it. I hope Sig Life is rocking and rolling for you. And so customers' bad gear choices have an impact on what we can do for them and how our gear will perform, and therefore how our gear is perceived. So if I sell somebody an excellent holster and they put it on a horrible belt, it's going to perform poorly, and it's going to reflect badly on my product, or at least they're going to think my product is bad, and they may tell other people my product is bad, just because they're using it poorly. John says, I made lots of the major FAQs and instructions, made them into videos and embedded them in the website. That's a great idea, John. People are usually much more willing to actually watch a short video than to scroll through a list of frequently asked questions. I still think as a holster maker, part of your due diligence... oh, sorry to hear you're sick, Kyle. Hello, PJ. Part of your due diligence in designing a website is to make sure that it's virtually impossible for your customers to get all the way through placing an order and without them having to come face to face with the relevant info they need. Sell belts 150 all day. Bobby, that's awesome. Personally, I don't care for leather belts. I am not a pin and buckle style guy because they always seem to want to line up. It just inevitably, every time I've had a pin and buckle belt, even when I've had custom gun belts made, the precise adjustment that I want is always directly in between the holes. My go-to for gun belts, I use and recommend Volan Gearworks. They're Atlas belts, especially for appendix carry. I think they're excellent because they use the ITW G-hook buckle, which is very low profile and has no moving parts. And so, so I like nylon. I like belts that have a sliding infinite adjustability. Almost all the time, anytime a customer asks a question about belts, I have a couple places I refer them to. It used to be I referred a lot of people to the Wilderness for the Wilderness Instructor belt. I still refer them there if they want that style of buckle and are interested in that kind of belt. I also recommend Aries gear. I recommend Volan Gearworks. I know John and Booth and those guys recommend Boxer Tactical. I've never handled any of their belts. There are a number of good options on the market. Buy a good belt. Recommend good belts to your customers. John says the Volan Atlas Slim is very good for appendix carry. More holsters are condemned due to a too stiff belt, says Tom. I have had some belts that I thought were too stiff, and they were designed primarily for range or competition use and were not really for carry. I've not had an issue with a holster performing poorly due to a belt that's too stiff, unless you mean an outside the waistband holster. I've had no problems with inside the waistband holsters that perform badly due to overly stiff belts. So, other areas where customers are often deficient. Really? That's surprising to me, Tom, that appendix holsters are working poorly because of a too stiff belt. Their poor gear choices, primarily belts, suboptimal carry methods. Oftentimes you'll get inquiries, and especially if you advertise or offer custom stuff, you will get customers offering or asking about styles and methods of carry that are really bad. A few of the obvious ones, okay, small of the back. I don't make anything for it. You shouldn't make anything for it. There's almost no reason ever why small of the back should be used, and it includes significant injury risks and liabilities, and so I just don't do it. But a lot of customers think that it'll be a great, easy place to conceal, and they've never been told or never thought through the trade-offs that small of the back requires. The Apogee from Boxer Tactical is an interesting looking belt. The style of buckle is not quite my bag. I'm a guitar player, and so I'm very conscious of large buckles just because I don't like scratching my guitars up. I froze up. I don't feel like I froze up. Oftentimes customers will have poor firearm handling skills. They'll be unsafe. Stuff is blowing over at the entrance of my shop. And they will lack defensive training. And if they've never taken a good defensive firearms class, oftentimes they won't have any idea how badly their VersaCarry actually is. They won't have any idea how ineffective or how difficult to access a small of the back carried gun actually is. And so I have actually told customers who drove out to my shop for a custom holster, once I talked with them and we found out what they were looking for, I have actually told people not to buy the holster from me. I've said, look, let's just leave this as is, set it aside, and go take a training class instead. And then once you've done that, then come back and we'll be able to more precisely build something that will actually work for you. I really don't want to build gear that a customer's going to then take to a class and say, this doesn't work for me. Hello, Eric. Yeah, Shiv works. Southnark, Craig Douglas, is pretty much the gold standard currently for classes that will really bring the heat in terms of showing where carry methods and deployment strategies are deficient. ECQC is an eye-opener, and just the videos from ECQC are an eye-opener. And so you have a responsibility, and you also have, on the flip side, you have a wonderful opportunity as a holster maker to be the interface between gun owners and training companies in a way that actually provides increased value for everybody involved, because I want my customers well-trained. I want them competent. I want them to handle safely. I want them to be decisive and to be well-educated in the use of force laws in their area. I want responsible, effective customers carrying my gear and carrying firearms. I want trainers in my area to be incentivized to offer good classes. I don't want to see IDF style, peaches, plums, apparel, those kind of things. I don't want to see snake oil. I don't want to see trainers who prey on low information gun owners, who feed them baloney, who teach them ineffective, outdated, or just wrong-headed methods and tactics that get them injured or killed in a gunfight. Yeah, I don't want the Israeli derp factory training company operating in my backyard. If there are trainers in your area who are legit, who offer good classes, who keep... well, I'm not opposed to shooting rubber dummies, but if that's all the curriculum is, then I think it's missing something. So, as a holster maker, support good trainers in your area. Go train with them. Introduce yourself to them, show them your gear, find out what they carry, talk to them a lot. Refer customers to them, and you can work out arrangements. You don't have to, but you can work out arrangements where you have referrals going to the training company and referrals coming from the training company. If you give free gear to those guys and they like it and it works well for them, and so when they run classes, people ask, well, what kind of holster do you carry? And they refer business back to you. That's a win-win. If you have good trainers in your area, send them customers. You want people in your area, especially those who are using your gear, to be as well-trained as possible. And I have sold guns to pay for training. I have encouraged customers to sell guns in order to pay for training. Guys are like, well, I'll never sell a gun. if you spend more per year on guns than on training, I think probably your priorities are wrong. I mean, I'm not going to hedge that. If you consistently spend more on guns than on ammo and training per year, your priorities are out of whack, because you can only use so many guns. So if you have trainers in your area, support them. Help them educate your customers. Because if you send a guy who's a low information customer, doesn't really know what he's doing, he's new to carry or she's new to carry, is not very confident or especially safe around firearms, and you get them hooked up with a competent trainer in your area who can increase their skill, give them the knowledge, test their safe handling and improve them, that's fantastic. So the firearms community is a community. Get to know your local community, support your local community. I keep stacks of business cards for local training companies in my desk. Anytime I have somebody come to my shop, I carry cards for local training companies in my wallet, and I receive no kickback from them. There's no referral bonus, percentage, or monies involved. I care about referring people in my area to trainers I trust. So make an effort to do that. That's one way for you to not have to bear the entire education burden of your customers. Now into customers. There are good customers. You know the ones I mean. Customers who email you politely. They are respectful. They understand the lead time. They read the FAQs. They train. They understand what the gear is supposed to do. They don't have unrealistic expectations. They don't email you every day starting the day of their order to find out when it's going to come. You know, good customers are never a problem. And if they have an issue, if the gear fails, something breaks, they lose hardware, good customers always approach it as business. Okay? If a customer emails me and says, hey, I lost some hardware, I'd like to buy another couple sets, here's my current address, please let me know how I can send you payment. Many times if that happens, I just send it to them, and I eat the shipping too. If they call me up and I get a song and dance and then they ask me to send them free stuff that my warranty clearly doesn't cover. My warranty specifically excludes hardware that was lost that was not Loctited. And I actually put an insert in my packaging that they have to take out to put a gun in the holster that explains that I didn't put Loctite on so they can adjust everything, but they do need to put Loctite on. And that piece of paper also states that the warranty does not cover lost hardware. One of the ways you can keep your interactions with bad customers low is structure your website and limit the options you advertise and sell to not attract bad customers. I was talking with another holster maker recently, and we were joking about Cryptek. And I don't have a problem with Cryptek, and he doesn't have a problem with Cryptek, but neither one of us sells Cryptek holsters. And in his, he said in his experience, oftentimes that Cryptek, more than any other color or texture option, tended to be low-quality customer bait. And what he meant by that is that guys who typically really wanted Cryptek also tended to have bad ideas about carry, defensive use. They wanted bad carry options. You know, I'm still amazed. Like one of my local gun store owners, and not that long ago, was I overheard him telling a customer that he alternates Full Metal Jacket, Hydroshocks, and ball ammo in his 45. I'm just going, guys, this is not 1991. We've got good loads that will penetrate denim. That you don't alternate ball and come on, okay? And so, you know, some of your local gun stores and some of your local trainers may actually be net negatives. They may actually be accentuating. They may be teaching wrong info. Respectfully, as much as possible, counteract that. If there's a trainer in your area and he's a hot mess and teaches garbage, when people talk him up, respectfully but straightforwardly, talk him down. So here are a couple of characteristics, sort of stereotype bad customers you may have met or worked with or had to do work for Some or all of these, I've given them names. I'm just going to run through them quickly, see how many you recognize. The constant emailer, I mentioned him earlier. This is the person who doesn't pay attention to the lead time and constantly emails you, wasting tons of your time and slowing down delivery in order to find out if you're still planning to deliver on the time frame you originally quoted them on. And every time you have to say yes. The emailer is oftentimes the lead time non-reader. Like, I have a bright orange banner that says on my website, all gear takes at least 2 to 4 weeks to build. I do not have a hard deadline, gear in 4 weeks where your pizza's free. No. I have a window that's a minimum. Yeah, the aspiring novel writer email. I left that one out, Keith, but guys who send you a page and a half email, 30 bullet points, tons of questions. Sometimes I'll answer one or two. You just, your time is money. They're not paying you to answer their emails. You have other customers who are paying you to build their gear, and so you have a responsibility to manage your time and not throw it away. The critical info forgetter. This is the person who negotiates something custom with you by email, and then you send them their shipping notification, and they email you back and say, oh, by the way, did I mention I'm left-handed? I'm like, this is more a problem. This is where you have to be very, very methodical if you do custom work, especially if you do not have a standardized order form, that you have some kind of documentation, some preset list of questions that you copy, paste, and email out so that you make sure to get the critical relevant info in writing up front before payment and the build starts from everybody ordering custom stuff to make sure that there's full disclosure both ways. This could be like a person has the wrong, they've got a 42 instead of a 43. They have a threaded barrel and forgot to tell you about it. They have suppressor height sights and forgot to tell you about it. They have a TLR4, not a TLR3. There's a whole bunch of other things that you can get screwed by if you as the builder don't do the digging up front. If you buy a custom print and you get 90% through the holster and find out some critical detail that scraps the whole thing, you can't charge them double. And so you end up either eating it or kicking it. Yeah, railed versus non-railed 1911s. Oh, I've got a 1911. Well, what is it? Is it a Ruger, a Springfield, a Colt, a Taurus? Is it that weird Colt with the extra long, deep rail? What are we talking about here? Is it a full-length rail, or is it, you have to find those things out. And so the critical information forgetter is a landmine. They're a person where you always have to pump them to make sure you get enough info that you feel safe actually starting the build and know you're not going to get slammed on the back end of it. The secret gun modder. This is the person who puts aftermarket parts on the gun and doesn't warn you about them. And so they may have a fitment issue. They may cut the gun differently. They may say, oh, there's some slop, and you're like, well, send me a picture of your gun, and they've, hacksawed, dremeled, and blowtorched the trigger guard to smithereens. If they don't know what they own, it's not worth my time, says Clark. Yes. If somebody sends me an email and says, hey, I have a 9mm, done. Just done. You can find out a person's initial email contact. Will reveal tons about them. A good customer will send you a short, polite, professional email that includes the relevant information and then politely requests that you get back to them. The ones that drive me crazy, somebody sends me an email and it says, XD Mod 2 TLR3 right hand outside the waistband, thanks. No punctuation, no questions, no greeting, no signature, just Yeah, and there are certain things like Shield versus Smith & Wesson Compact, and people will get really, really goofed up. The Blackmailer. This is a person who's this is not an ignorant customer. This is actually kind of a malicious customer. And if you get a feel that it's headed this direction, end it. Because this person is not buying in good faith, or they are, but they are habitually a bad customer service. They're a black hole of customer service. This would be a person who orders something from you, they get it from you, they're not happy with some part of it, and instead of explaining the problem and asking you how to resolve it, they immediately start threatening you. They immediately bring up, their YouTube channel, or they're going to write a negative review on their gun forum, or they bring up all their social media followers. They make it very clear that they're ready to lay the smackdown on you if you don't jump through their hoops in the way they want to resolve the issue in the way they want. In some cases, the best option is to immediately refund them and then send them a prepaid return address sticker, postage, knowing that they may actually keep the holster, may not ever send it back, and you might be out the money, you might be out the holster, and you might be out the prepaid label that you sent them. But if they do that, they have no leverage on you. They can't say, I bought a holster from company Z, and I didn't like it, and they refunded me and sent me a prepaid label, but I refused to return it, and now I'm complaining about it because I'm a thief. They can't do that. If a customer, when it comes to pricing negotiation will also tell you a lot about a potential customer. And I find two different types here. The discount beggar and the freebie moocher. And these are different. And the freebie moocher is usually trying to convince you to give them something for nothing in exchange for some upside for you down the road. It could be their YouTube channel. It could be social media exposure. It could be that they're shooting IDPA or USPSA in their area, and they think that they are going to be a fantastic walking advertisement for you. John says, I had a guy charge back his credit card after he got everything on his invoice. Yeah. This is one of the places where things like eBay, Amazon, PayPal can really be a problem, because oftentimes if the customer disputes a charge, they'll simply freeze the funds, in some cases freeze your whole account, and that can be really incapacitating, and you can get hurt by that. If you have a customer who is a discount beggar, and they always are trying to chisel some off the price. They're asking for coupon codes. They're asking for you to throw extra stuff in. They're asking if they can bundle stuff in from their friends and get a better rate. Like, they're just, I'm not opposed to somebody politely asking for a discount. In my FAQs, I do spell out that I don't offer currently. I don't offer first responder, law enforcement, military, firefighter discounts. I don't offer discounts to veterans. My goal, for simplicity's sake, is to keep pricing the same for everybody all the time. And that's not because I don't respect veterans and don't respect law enforcement and first responders and don't value the work that they do, but I want all my customers to have the most seamless, pleasant experience ordering from me possible, and I don't want to have to be trying to vet people's credentials, and it gets to be too much. Can I get an autographed pic? Not from me, but maybe John Hopman will send you one. And usually the freebie moocher is just a straight up refusal. Like, the kid's got, somebody's got 10 followers on YouTube and has fewer followers than me on Instagram, and they think that they're going to be able to market my stuff in ways that I can't, and I'm just not interested. Oftentimes, freebie moochers don't even get a return email from me. They just get deleted. Customers who wait for seasonal or scheduled sales, that's totally fine. And I am planning to use some coupon codes on my website in 2017. I probably won't run any this year. I'm not sure. It'll depend. But if you have a Black Friday sale and a Christmas sale and you have a summer sale and people wait and place bigger orders during those sales, that's totally great. That's the point of the sale, is to incentivize that kind of purchasing. If you have people who pester you for a coupon code when you're not running one, and then when you say, well, I don't have any coupon codes, they ask, well, do you offer a discount for redheads? And you're like, well, no, I don't. Gingers actually have to pay more. And they say, well, do you offer a coupon code, a discount for, and it's, every time you say no, they ask another discount related question. Just don't waste your time on that. When it comes to your warranty, and this has to do with dealing with customers who order wrong options because they don't know what they're looking for, or they order something and have unrealistic expectations of how it should perform, and they get back to you and they're not happy. When you have a customer that's not happy, the goal is get them as happy as you can. The goal is not necessarily do everything they ask for, but get them as happy as you can. Some customers, as soon as you see their feedback, it will be immediately apparent that there's nothing you're going to be able to do to actually make them happy. In that case, your goal then is give them their money back. If you can, get your product back, and do it with the least amount of wasted time on your end as possible. Okay? If a customer emails you back or calls you up and talks smack about your product, and you take it personally and it turns into a flame war on social media, you're damaging your brand. Don't do that. Okay? I think there is very, very little value, only in very limited circumstances, is there value in putting customers on blast. I think it reflects poorly on you, and even though it provides some momentary enjoyment, and certain of your customers who enjoy seeing people put on blast will enjoy seeing you put somebody on blast and will say, oh, heck yeah, man, that guy was an idiot. Good you put him on blast. I'm going to tell all my friends that you're awesome and you put people on blast and make great holsters. I don't think that the upside is worth it. I would rather have short, efficient, polite, and direct interactions with problem customers and give them their money back rather than try to make it personal and get my pound of flesh out of it and get my personal satisfaction and prove to everybody that I know what I'm talking about and that customer is a moron. As much as possible, I try to avoid those situations by not getting into them in the first place. This is true of customers and also of defensive carry with firearms. If you see a problem coming, leave. If you see a bad customer coming down the pike, if an interaction with a customer gives you that feeling like, my spidey sense is tingling, this is not going to turn out well, leave. Miss the sale. Whatever time you invested in emailing them, talking to them, explaining to them, shooting videos, and whatever you did, whatever time investment you have, do not throw more time and product down the hole if your gut tells you this is not going to go well. This customer is a problem customer just waiting to happen. Cut your losses. Just get out from under it as quickly as you can. If you either don't get a good read on them and you unfortunately override your gut, you think, something doesn't feel right here, it's probably all going to be fine. Yeah, it's the stupid people, stupid places, stupid things. If you do bad business with bad customers, or if you do business with bad customers, it's going to turn into bad business. And so as much as possible, just steer clear of them. You have no obligation to return every inquiry and email. You just don't. You do not owe anybody who's just kicking tires, you don't owe them an email back. If a customer who has bought your product emails you with warranty questions or problems, you do owe them an email back. So let's get over to warranty. When it comes to warranty, there's a very basic principle. Honor your word. Whatever you said you would do do it. Do it all the way. Do it without complaining. If you promised it, you owe it. If your warranty guarantees it, you owe it. You have the option, but not the responsibility, not the obligation, to go above and beyond your warranty. If your warranty was a 1-year warranty and somebody came back to you 2 years later with something broken, you do not have to honor it under warranty. You have the option of, and you can maybe get a customer for life by honoring your warranty outside its terms. But in my FAQs, I say orders are completed in the order that they are received. If you email me, the line bumper, this is another problem customer. If you have somebody who places an order and emails you 5 minutes later and says, hey, I just placed an order through your web store. I was wondering if you could start on that tonight because I've got a class on Saturday and I really want to take it and I really want to rep your stuff and I really want to have this holster for the class. Look, can you just can you just let me cut in line in front of all your other paying customers who put their orders in last week? Nope. People don't get to cut in line here. However, in my FAQs, I do state that warranty work always gets bumped to the front of the line. If you have one of my holsters and you have a warranty problem, I will stop what I'm doing and fix it. I will make you a new holster. I will fix your existing holster. Whatever is happening, if it's under warranty, I take care of it right away. Okay? And that's part of you honoring your word. Your customer is putting, in one sense, they're putting their life a little bit in your hands by using your gear. If your gear fails, their life could be in danger. If your gear doesn't work properly, their life could be in danger. So honor your word. Going above and beyond your warranty can be fantastic customer relations, but understand and make sure your customers understand you're not obligated to honor outside the warranty. You have the freedom to do so whenever you feel like it. If you're having a great week, you had a wonderful, you had a great breakfast, a delicious cup of coffee, you're in a fantastic mood, it's 8:30, the first email of the morning is a person who very politely explains that they cracked a holster during a strenuous training class and they want to know if it's warranted. You might say, yes, I'll have a new one out to you today, and thanks for being a great customer. Here's a free magazine carrier and some swag. You can do that, but you have to keep your warranty clear. If your warranty is vague, then you will always end up with customers unhappy if they feel that they should be in warranty and you feel they're not. So keep your warranty brutally clear, extremely concise and to the point. So here's an example of a vague warranty. Here's an example of a clear, straightforward warranty. Our products carry an unconditional, unlimited lifetime warranty. Eric, I will actually pull up my warranty policy off my website and read it to you. Mine could probably afford to be revised a little bit. But I'll read you what my website says. On my landing page, the front page of my website, I have an order button, a Swift Press button, and an FAQ. Lead time, let me scroll down. What is the warranty? This is from henryholsters.com. I say Henry Holsters products are covered by a limited lifetime warranty. If your holster fails, it will be repaired or replaced at no charge unless it appears to have been deliberately destroyed. So if you decide to cut your holster apart with a Dremel and then send it back, it won't be covered. A little bit of humor at the end. So what mine basically says is if your holster fails and it doesn't look like you broke it deliberately, I will warranty it. So John Keller, I don't have a normal wear and tear clause in there. I tell customers, look, take this and train with it. If your training class involves drawing your outside the waistband holster and rolling down on the side and it gets crushed and scuffed up and torn up on the gravel and you crack it or tear it up, I will gladly replace that for free. I am happy to see you out there training. If you are out on your motorcycle and you spill and your holster gets shredded, I will replace that holster. I'm glad you're still alive. Okay? I think normal wear and tear clauses normal wear and tear clauses can be very, very vague, because if by normal wear and tear the holster maker means you put a gun in it and wear it around and you never train with it, it never gets smushed, like it never actually gets used hard. If the warranty doesn't cover hard use, it's not a good warranty. These are hard use life-saving items. The warranty ought to cover hard use. Some warranties are limited to the original owner. I think that's baloney. I don't want my holsters to become of no value to a second or third string purchaser. And so, yeah, Eric Powell, the classic example of a guy who puts a black holster on the dashboard of a car in Las Vegas and then emails you and says, hey, the holster turned into a blob, will you warranty it? That's an opportunity, in that case, I might say to the customer, yes, I will warranty it this once, but I will never warranty that for you again. And if you're, you can't say, the customer can't say that the holster getting melted happened while they were wearing it. They weren't using it at the time. Okay? I think it is good to warranty to any future owner of the holster. So if somebody buys a gun secondhand and one of my holsters is thrown in by the seller, I want that customer to be able to trust that the gear is still warranted. The used DSG buyer. I don't know what the used DSG buyer you mean is, Tom. So that's what my warranty covers. It's a limited lifetime warranty. I don't say it's unlimited, unconditional. There are limits. If it looks like the user modified it badly with tools, I will usually not warranty it. Exceptions would be if somebody cuts the muzzle open to run a longer firearm, that doesn't affect the warranty. Trimming the sweat guard doesn't affect the warranty. Heat gunning it on purpose could affect the warranty. Oh, sorry. I'm thinking DSG Arms. I was looking at DSG Arms website last night. Yeah. Yes. Warranting gear that's bought used is good customer service. If in doubt, I would always recommend err on the side of honoring your warranty, because the cost to you will be fixed and measurable, but a customer who thinks something should be warranted but you refuse it will be an unhappy customer. And if you warranty something that's clearly outside warranty, almost always, not always, but almost always, that customer will tell people about it. Hey, I had this holster, this happened to it, totally my fault, clearly outside the warranty, but I emailed them and asked if there was anything they could do. They replaced it, they shipped me overnight, well, not overnight in this case. They shipped me a priority mail, a new holster the next day. This customer service from this company is fantastic. That's good PR. If that review cost you a $60 holster, money well spent, time well spent, a holster well sent. Hello, Ahmad. So keep the warranty clear, err on the side of honoring it. Lost hardware. This is kind of a thing that just comes up regularly. I try to do everything possible to make it clear to customers that lost hardware is outside the warranty. That's not a failure of the holster. That's a failure of user maintenance. Yeah, if you have somebody who buys a used holster and it's beat up because the first guy trained hard with it, and the second user wears it out and it breaks, and they come back to you and they get a brand new holster for free under warranty, that's fantastic customer service, and you will probably get future business from them. This is something I remember Tom Kelly mentioning it on one of the forums or one of the Facebook groups. It came from Gary Vaynerchuk, and I agree with Gary and Tom in mentioning it, is that oftentimes you stand to gain more equity with the customer by doing an above and beyond job handling a problem than if the customer has a completely seamless, trouble-free purchase with no problems on the back end. That problems with the user, problems with the item, problems with the product are actually an opportunity to hit a level of customer satisfaction that a flawless product can never actually achieve. How you deal with the problems, how you keep your cool, communicate clearly, take care of the customer, go above and beyond, that can actually gain you a level of equity that nothing else can. I still say that hardware is not covered under warranty, so that I have the option of replacing it for free if I feel like it, and that they understand clearly that that's a favor from me and not something I was obligated to do. The other thing, though, is, when I started my holster company, there were no easily available sources online where somebody could cheaply order hardware. Like, it used to be that if somebody needed hardware, they had to come back to me to get hardware. Like, it's not on, a holster maker is probably buying hardware from DIY, from knife kits. If a user says, hey, I lost some screw posts, you might just say, you know what? Yeah, free replacement hardware seems really above and beyond to them, so it's a chance to build great equity for the cost of $1 or $2 in hardware. Jeremy Gibbs, that's not exactly true. A customer with a negative experience may tell more people, but the idea that somebody with a good experience will only tell one or two, I don't think is the case. Because social media makes reviews scalable. And so a really positive post, a really positive Instagram photo with a tag, those things can continue to yield dividends for you for months or years. Yeah, but if somebody loses hardware, they can go and buy 20 pieces from Index, from DIY, from Knife Kits, from Holster Builder. Like, there are tons of options. The hardware is not hard to find anymore. And honestly, if I were a holster user and not a maker and didn't stock hardware, and it's like buying spare recoil springs for a Glock. If I'm a holster user, I think it's a good idea to have spares on hand. I would probably go to like DIY or Index and buy 50 screw posts and buy 50 screws and buy some washers and just have a spare holster hardware kit. That would make sense to me. Not every customer will do that. If you train a lot, if I go to training classes, I take a little divider container of spare hardware, screws, screw posts, washers, and some belt loops with me. In case, like, I've been at training classes and had somebody else lose hardware off a holster from a company I didn't make, and I fixed them up on the spot for free, and they were able to finish the class, and it was great. They never bought anything from me afterwards, but it was a chance for me to help them finish a class. It was a chance for me to pay it forward, and I was happy to do it. It cost me $1 worth of hardware. Okay? Yeah, positive posts really can go viral. When somebody needs replacement hardware, I give them some of everything plus a few extras. Yeah, if I'm going to go through the trouble of shipping you something, I'm not going to ship you one screw post, and one washer. Usually I'll ship at least whatever the holster takes, I'll ship a set. So if it's an inside the waistband holster with one soft loop and a strut, so it's got, the overall setup has 3 screw posts, 3 rubber washers, and 3 screws with countersunk washers on them on the front, I'll usually, whatever the hardware set is, I'll usually send a complete holster set. And then that's above and beyond what they even asked for. They're like, hey, can I get 2 screw posts? I lost one, or I lost 2. And they get a whole set. That's above and beyond, which is only good for you. So when you have good customers, if you have customers who consistently talk your product up, refer people to you, hey, man, they are bringing you value. They are making you money. Give them free gear. Reward quality customers who talk you up, who do good PR for you, who bring you business. Like when you're working on a new design, you've got a new prototype, you've got a new idea, you've got some pieces in hand, send them an email. Say, hey, Jim, I got something cool I think you'd like to check out. I dropped it in the mail to you yesterday. Let me know when you get it. Let me know what you think. And those customers will continue to refer people to you. They'll continue to use their gear. They'll continue to love it. You can get good customers for life who talk you up, who build your brand equity, who do good customer relations for you, and can sometimes even alert you to problems that you might not have heard about. So if you have somebody who has one of your holsters and something goes wrong, the forum complainer is another kind of bad customer. If they have an issue and they take it to the forums first and they don't contact you, that's bad. They shouldn't do that. That's, if I buy something from a company and it doesn't work, something goes bad, I consider it a courtesy to give them a chance to fix it first before I go public with the problem. If I get the runaround from them, they refuse to fix it, they want to charge me a lot of money, they say it's my fault, they say the problem I'm describing can't be happening. If I get baloney from them, then I'll take it public. But I think it's a courtesy that if I expect my customers to extend me that courtesy, then I also should extend that courtesy to any other company that I am a customer to. If I have a problem with something I bought from them, I give them the opportunity to make it right first before taking, putting them on blast and taking it to the forums. Reward people who provide you good value, people who go above and beyond to promote your stuff, to thank you for the spare hardware you sent. Send them for some free stuff. Send them advanced copies. Send them swag. Yes, Jace, forum complainers also applies to us regarding our equipment suppliers. And this is why I just went over the I feel I owe the courtesy. If I expect my customers to give me the opportunity to fix the problem first, then I have the obligation to treat my suppliers, people I buy from, with the same respect. So if I buy a bunch of screw posts and some of them are cross-threaded or not threaded, something's wrong with them, okay? I'm going to contact the person I bought from first and give them the opportunity to fix it before I put them on blast on Facebook or on the forums. I have been surprised to see holster makers instantly complaining about some bad piece of hardware, a misset snap loop, a wrong count, missing items in their order, something, and they immediately go to the forums and start complaining about the company, and that company's a member on the forums. Like, it is not hard to reach out to DIY or Index or Knife Kits. Like, you can get somebody on the phone. Not hard to do. So yeah, if you expect your customers to be respectful of you, you have to pay it forward and be respectful of people you buy from. That's just good business. If you're a bad customer, you will get bad customer service. If you're a complainer, then you deserve to have people buy your gear and complain about it. Yeah, if a customer returns something and they're apologetic and they're understanding and they appreciate your time, there are some customers who, once they order once and I have a bad go round with them, I blacklist them. I won't ever do work with them for them again. It's just not worth my time. They're a problem waiting to happen again. And I don't need it. So there are some people who are on my blacklist. Since I have the ability now, they can just place an order without having to email me. It used to be the case that years ago everything came through email, and nobody could place an order without my knowledge. But if one of my legendary bad customers placed an order through my website, if it's a spec item, I'd be tempted, but I'd probably still cancel their order and refund them. And maybe send them an email explaining why. I'm not sure about that. It would depend who it was and what the reason was. But don't waste your time. Don't stress yourself out. Don't burn yourself out dealing with stupid stuff from bad customers who you could tell were bad going in, and you went and put your head in the lion's mouth anyway and got bit. Okay? That's just stupid. As a maker, the play stupid games, win stupid prizes thing totally applies. If you have something that's obviously going to turn out badly and you pursue it and it turns out badly, yes, you can be upset with the customer, but if you saw it coming and you didn't move out of the way of it, you have nobody but yourself to blame. So, be smart about it. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. If I see it coming and I don't take steps to avoid the problem and I get hit by the problem, that's on me. Swag is another great way to soften the sting of making somebody pay for work that's not warranted. Swag is also great for managing customer expectations. I quote a 2 to 4 week, minimum 2 to 4 week lead time. Today, I actually shipped out some stuff that was just past the 4 week mark. Not proud of it, but it happened. Life happens. And so I made sure to email the guy and explain that I appreciated his patience. He had not pestered me with emails. I was aware that I'd gone over the 4 week lead time slightly. I thanked him for his patience. I gave him his tracking info. I told him his order went out today, and I included some extra swag. He got some stickers and some engraved Kydex patches and some leather. Like, he got more than usual swag as a thank you. Trying to head off the possibility of a dissatisfied customer. So there are lots of different ways to try to improve customer service. Things that aren't excusable, that are totally your responsibility. If somebody emails you with a warranty issue and you lose their email or don't return that email promptly, or you don't follow up with them, that's bad. It's on you, and it reflects badly on you, and it should. So, customers, I mean, they're the lifeblood of your business. You don't have a business without them. You can't perfectly screen out the bad ones. You can't effectively avoid all the bad ones. You can't prevent some customers from misusing your gear, breaking your gear, misunderstanding your gear, or having unrealistic expectations about your gear. But how you respond to them is entirely up to you. If you easily get upset with them, if you snap, if you get snarky, if you mock them, if you belittle them, if you put them on blast, you will reap what you sow. And if your attitude toward customers very quickly becomes confrontational, if there's a problem, then you're adding gasoline to a small fire and you'll get a big one. So as much as possible, I try to deal very calmly with customers, even if I think that like what they're asking for is unreasonable, even if I think they're being kind of stupid about it, because the stress doesn't help me. Stressing about them, trying to make it difficult or painful for them to return their stuff so they can see that they're being stupid, doesn't help me. Hello, Shane. I'm about to close down. I'm glad you made it, but we're almost done. And so even though it might be satisfying to sort of stick it to a customer who's really being a pill about something, it's just not worth it. The upside isn't there. And the potential of that one negative interaction to really sting you down the road really is there. No one is ever going to put you on blast on the forums and say, I had a problem. I called him up and asked for a return, and I heard back from him 5 minutes later, and he very politely refunded my money. I hate that guy. You're not going to get negative for that. But if you send them a long, snarky email back, this is the Gavin de Becker thing. There's actually, if you don't know the book, The Gift of Fear, you should read it. Gavin de Becker has some really interesting stuff to say. Unfortunately, he's also anti-gun, so take that part with a bucket of salt, or just skip that part. Whenever he starts going off into La La Land about being anti-gun, I just skip over it. But he has a section on dealing with unwanted advances, specifically women, but also employers, businesses dealing with problem employees, and it all transfers over, or women dealing with men who are borderline or full-out stalking them, people who you don't want to deal with anymore. Every time you give them a reason to contact you again, you are extending the interaction. Okay? What you want to do, if you want it to end, if you want the customer interaction to be done, you want to give them their money back, you want to get your holster back, you want the whole thing to be over, if you ask questions or make conditional statements or do anything vague or equivocal or say anything snarky that invites them to come back at you, you are extending the interaction. Even if it feels like you're just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna give them a zinger on the way out the door, it's not gonna work. Okay? If you settle it, if you refund their money and you send them a prepaid label and they don't return your stuff, I would probably never email them again. I had customers steal from me when I was a young company. Okay? Before I had a website, I had a dude who talked himself up and down as a disabled United States Marine Corps veteran. Okay? Talked a great story, needed a gun holster in a hurry, met him at a gun show, really complimentary, loved the stuff, puffed me up, tried to flatter me real hard. I sent him some stuff, didn't pay. Emailed him, gave me excuses. It was BS. Waited 3 weeks, emailed him, different excuses, all BS. At a certain point, you just walk away from that. You cannot make, first of all, it was stupid of me to send him gear without having it paid up front. And if you send somebody gear without having received payment, you are running the risk of never getting paid for that, and you have no one but yourself to blame if they don't ever pay. If you send them gear without money in hand, that's on you. So be smart about how you handle your customers. Be polite to a fault. Gary Vaynerchuk talks about the 49-51 thing. He says in relationships there's always 100% total of what's being given and taken. And he said he always tries to stay on the getting 49, giving 51. He always tries to give more than he receives. I don't nickel and dime customers for stuff if I can, a free mag carrier is not nickel and diming something. A couple of free screws and a rubber washer, making them pay for it and pay priority shipping for it is nickel and diming them, even though it's not nickels and dimes at that point. But if you err on the side of always trying to extract the most that you can out of the customer, making them prepay for the shipping, if your goal is to give as little as possible in your customer interactions, you will end up with increasingly negative customer interactions and increasingly unhappy customers. If your goal is to give more, expecting that will sometimes, maybe often, mean that you are slightly or seriously being taken advantage of, you have to moderate. You're not giving away the farm. But if you approach customer relations and customer service with the goal of always giving more, then you will have net overall happier customers. You will have fewer unhappy, disgruntled, complaining customers who will put you on blast on social. So I'm going to go ahead and roll off here. I've got a few things to do still in the shop, and then I'm going to bed. I'm pretty whipped. It's been a long day for me. I very much appreciate you guys coming by and spending your Monday evening with me. Your time and attention is not at all taken for granted. I love having your questions. My comments did not freeze up this time, apparently. As usual, I will go through and answer in text any comments I did not have a chance to answer in the feed. I very much appreciate you spending time with me. Thank you very much. Have a great night, guys.